The table here is good for 23 guests. And in this party, there's going to be 40 guests and 35 drop-in guests. Now, these drop-in guests are going to count as half a guest. So, for example, we're going to take half of 35 to get to the total number of guests equivalent to that. And then we're going to add that to 40 guests. So this number is going to give us the total guests, which is going to be 57.5. So just to recap, we're going to count all 40 guests, and then we're going to take half of 35 because they're going to count as half a guest. Okay. So now we have to look at the table. The table is good for 23 guests. Now we have 57.5 guests. What is that ratio? Well, that ratio is 2.5. What this means is we're going to have 2.5 times more guests than what this table is good for. So what that means is we have to multiply each one of these by 2.5 to get the necessary amount for the 57.5 full guests that we'll have. Now, let's do 32 times 2.5. That's the same thing as 32 times 2, which is 64, plus half of 32 is 16. So the answer here is 80. So there's going to be 80 pieces of fried chicken. For deli meats, we have 4 1/3, and we want to multiply that by 2.5. So I'm just going to rewrite that as 5 halves. 4 1/3 is just 13 over 3. And then multiply that by 5 halves. 13 times 5 is 65. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 goes into 65 10 times, remainder 5. So that's going to be 10 5/6 pounds of deli meat. For the lasagna, we're going to take 10 3/4 and multiply it by 2.5. 10 3/4, I can represent that as 43 over 4. And 2.5 is just 5 halves. Now, 43 times 5, that's going to be 215. And then 4 times 2 is 8. Question is, how many times does 8 go into 215? Well, 8 times 25 is 200. So that's going to be 26. 26 times 8 is going to be 208. So we have a remainder 7 out of 8. And this is going to be pounds of lasagna. So these three are my answer.